both of us had a brief with him yesterday, and he's like, I'm okay as long as you guys are fine, but I would like to see
he wants to get a view of what it's doing. I totally understand. I totally understand. Okay, well, let's look at the modules first, shall we? That's the important thing. So I have started recording. Not that makes too much difference. But okay, so using the demo system.
Okay.
Going to log on to ProgrammExpress. What you will see if I open up the portfolio and projects, so what we'll see here are all the different modules here shown as icons on this page. But if I go through to the updates, it shows them all here. So we've got projects and project details. They're standard stuff anyway. That's details that go into a project. Then we've got commentary, which is narrative status. You know, what did you achieve last period, focus for next period, etc. Then we've got the planning screen. This is core. Then we've got resources, which is extra, which we'll show. Then we've got cost management, which is core.
Right. Cost management, we are not keen at the moment because anyways, we are capturing it outside, and there is a dedicated finance team. So they are monitoring and controlling that bit.
Okay. I mean, it's core to the system anyway.
Okay.
That's not something we can take out. But what we can do is we can filter out by user access. So if you're not going to use it for now, then what we can do is it is core to the system, I'm afraid. It's part of the base system. But we can actually filter out modules that you don't want to see. Okay. Then we've got benefit realization, which is an extra. Then we have impact management, which is an extra. Then we have risks, and risks and logs are also core. So we've got commentary, plan, costs, risks, and logs are just the base system, and then we can be flexible about the others. Now, logs will be things like decisions, issues, actions, etc. What you want to set up as your sort of like RAID log, and your risks is your risk register. So let me just take a project, and let me just work through each of the modules. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to run the report, so you can see the report is the benefit coming out of the other end. So I'm going to run the report, which shows you what you get, and then I'll show you quickly how to input it. So it'll be a two-pronged approach. So, for example, I'm going to show you a shared report, which is a RAG status summary. So this is all part of the core, and this will show your commentary.
Okay.
So here we've got a report, and we've got the projects, and we show the narrative commentary against each of the projects. Overall, focus for next period, decisions and escalations. Now you can have different commentary threads, and part of the configuration is we will help set up what you want as your commentary threads. Okay. Another report that brings in commentary would be your one-page summary, which is something that drops nicely down onto a PowerPoint slide. So, for example, all your projects, and again, you have the narrative status sitting in here, whatever the project manager updates with. So that's another place the narrative status will sit. I don't think we need to spend too long on that, because I think that that's definitely core. You need that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I could then go into the module of commentary, then what we have here are things, bad example, it's an old project, but this is where the user will set up what their general summary of the project is. And we could have different commentary threads. We've got COVID-19 impact from here, and lots of different commentary threads. Why is the plan red? Why are resources red? But then we come down to achieve last period, and we've got focus for next period. And that's where people will make those updates, and whatever the most recent updates will appear at the top of the screen then. So that's the latest comment, less than a minute ago. It says who the user was and what the comment was. And I've now got a commentary thread of what has been said. You've got an audit trail now as what's been said over a period of time.
The trail is captured, and it's
yeah. So I mean, I can change that now to A's, for example, and now I've got 3 comments. I've got a full commentary thread and an audit trail of what's said. So that's really commentary, and that's then I've shown you a couple of examples of where the report feeds into commentaries. So let me take an example of plan. And I'm going to use the ProgrammExpress implementation for that, this is what I use to produce the report to put in the proposal. So within the plan screen, what I put in here is the data of the actual plan, which goes down to 2 levels. And we don't necessarily subscribe to that. We say that over a lot of projects, you should maybe have your 7 or 8 key milestones across every project, and let people use Microsoft Project if they really want to use Microsoft Project or that type of solution, and it shows you a picture. And you
can at the moment it's more or less an Excel based project
Excel
plan, I would say, than MS Project. Yeah.
Well, if it's Excel based, that's great, because what this gives you is Excel and a bit more, as opposed to Microsoft Project. Which is used in a different way. So some project managers may have a 1,000-line project plan. Now in here, you wouldn't want to see that, because you want to see the holistic view across all your projects. So anyway, there's the planning module. And then what I am able to do is everybody updates a plan. Then what's the benefit of everybody updating the plan? I go to my top level, and 1 click, I get a consolidated view of a shared report that I've set up, all sitting within the reporting tabs of the Gantt chart. There's 2 extra things that I want to show. One is documents, and the other is dashboards and reporting plus. So here now we've got the plan, and we have all the plans for all the different projects. Hence why everybody should update their plan. Going into detail, we have what we call templates. You can set up a template because you can tell people, say, I want every project to have initiation, approval, development, testing, go live. And that's what I'm looking for. Now, you can set up templates to make sure that people start with either only use that as a minimum, or start with that and expand on that. So you get some consistency. And that's what we sort of like tend to want our clients to do, because it just makes the system work better. But it's within everyone's gift to do whatever they want.
So does it mean that we can define templates specific to the phases of the project?
Exactly. So if I go into what I call a new project template, and I have a sort of like a blank project there: discovery, initiate, analyze, approve, test, design, develop, implement. What that means is that when I go and set up a new project, in supply chain, for example, I'll go new project. Sorry, I'll go here, plus new project, new file, and it's got a template that I already want to pre-populate, which is called new project template. And you can have many templates if you want. You might have IT infrastructure templates, or you might have car brand templates. I don't know what you want, but you can have as many templates as you want. So I've now set up a new project called new file, and you'll see here. And the idea is that when you set up a project manager, you say, this is what I want. This is my requirement of you. I want these phases filled in and updated. Or you can change that, or you can then say, and you can add tasks to that if you want. You know, you can add tasks at a lower level, I could indent a bit like we do in Microsoft Project, etc., etc. So we can have.
So you must have answered this question already, but again, just to reconfirm from my end. So let's say my project goes through a couple of phases like assessment, build, implement, launch. We call it that way. So in assessment phase, I have the requirement of business case, internal note, etc. So these are in specific templates. So can I build it here and ask everybody, or let's say the project managers, to go past it? I mean that is a mandatory requirement if you are registering it as a project. So can that be done here, like the templates I want in on each phases?
Okay, so so this now, are you talking about documents attached to it? So
Yeah.
Okay, so now what you're moving on to is something else. This is a template for a plan, but
okay. Sorry. Okay, got it.
No, it's fine because let's cover it off now, because what you can also have then is document templates. So I go into documents, and what I can have here, I can attach a document to a project. So I don't have any examples here, but if I go to my top level, do I have any examples? And we can go to something in more detail on it, and you will want it, because what you can have here and documents at the top level, you can add all your templates. So this is what I require of you. If it's a small, medium, large project, a business case template, a PID, a small PID, or a project mandate. And then what will happen is that will then filter down to the project. So it almost tells the project manager what they need to do. So if I set up new file as a new project, and I go into my details, and I say this project is large, medium, or small, if I go it's a large project, I'm going to want more than just a one-page template. So if I click OK on that and go to documents, you'll see here I'm required to fill in a business case template and a project PID template, and you will have loaded these up, these blank Word templates, and make them available for them to click on, download, and then reload the finalized version. So you've got your templates within here that they can do. It tells them that it's a large project, there are 5 or 6 templates that are expected to be filled in, or it's a very small piece of work, but I still want a one-page project mandate, and you'd put the project mandate in there. So it drives a requirement as to what you want of them from that point of view. And then you can either add the documents back in here as live documents, or you can add a root directory, and people can route you to the project, to the documents. So we've covered off documents as well there. So that's a good question. So that was plan. That's documents. Then we move on to cost. Sorry, resources. So let's say, for example, let me have a look at this. No, let's do resources using the ProgrammExpress implementation. So if I move on to resources, it shows here I don't have any because it's blank. It shows here that these are red, which means there's a problem with all of these. But if I either click in here or I go to resources this way, now because I've set you up as a user on the demo system, there's no data here. But what I can do in terms of resources, say, right, okay, new file is going to be working on the ProgrammExpress implementation. So I add you, you're a resource called new file. Your skill type is either project management or whatever else you want it to be. Again, this is part of the configuration, is we have what type of skills you have. And then I'm going to say, right, okay, for this example, you are PMO. You have a skill type of PMO. Okay, so I'm going to assign you as PMO, a PMO resource on this project, because you might be on another project. I mean, do you actually manage projects as well as PMO?
It's mostly project management and a bit of PMO, but we have dedicated team to do that.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that you might have 2 skill types. You might have
like that.
So on another project, you might be managing it as a project, but on the overall, the top level, your PMO. And then I'll say, right, okay, you're expected to work, let's say, a day a week on the implementation, and that can be on the total project, on the plan, on phases, and whatever the phases are here, license agreement, proposal, purchase order, implementation, configuration, data load, that is replicating the plan. Or you can have specific days. Just say, well, I'm working on Friday, well, Thursday and Tuesday and Wednesday, so that way. But let's say, for example, you're going to be working a day a week across the ProgrammExpress implementation. So if I click OK on that, I've now added you a day a week from now, or a day a week from the start to the end of the project. It shows your availability, your general availability is 4.5 days a week, sorry, 5 days a week. And we're going to ask for you within here 1 day a week. Now, other thing that I'll tell you here is that all these graphs here we work in conjunction with something called fusion charts, which is not relevant, it's part of ProgrammExpress, but this is all part of Reporting Plus. So dashboards and all these types of things, and the same with the plan, is all part of Reporting Plus. So here where you get your graphics, the fusion charts, that's all the reason why you'd have Reporting Plus. So I've added you as a resource basically. So what does that mean? So that means if I go back to my highest level portfolio and say, right, okay, let me run one that I've already prepared called resource usage summary. If everybody's saying what resources they wish to have on their project, you immediately get an Excel style report on people, how many days a week they're available. You know, some people have a day job and some people, project managers, 2 days a week. If I go down here to new file, it's showing now that you're working on the ProgrammExpress implementation 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and 1. And that 1 is because of a crossover in months. So it's already showing you there. Now, if I added you to another project, let's call it across the same dates. Yeah, let me go and add resource. Again, new file. You're going to be working 5 days a week on this project as a project manager. On the total project, click OK and save, and then it shows here now you're over allocated. The red is that's now showing you're a problem. That's showing the project manager there is a problem now because I want new file 5 days a week on this project, but I can't have him. So that immediately alerts that person to there being a problem. And then if I run my resource usage report again, now it will show you up, as it does with some of these, it adds up and aggregates the number of days in a period they're expected to work on projects and shows you where there is a problem. It shows you where there is a problem. And if I go down to new file again, do I pronounce your name properly, by the way? New file, do I pronounce your name properly?
Sorry?
Do I pronounce your name properly?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay, so you're now in demand planning and ProgrammExpress. You're now over allocated September, October, and November because I've just allocated you. So there becomes a problem, and obviously you drop off your workload from a ProgrammExpress implementation point of view. So what we're trying to say here is that it's very easily, there's a resource pool that you just add and say, I want this person, and then you can start to pipeline the resources as you wish. You can start to manage your resources based on the output that you're getting. And not only that, but I could also flip it on its head and say, that's people's usage, what's their availability? So I go resources, settings, and I've got several resource reports. And this one could have usage by skill. So you could look in a department, whether that was over allocated, but I'm going to look at availability by resource and click that. So what you'll see here now is people's resource allocation, green being that's their available, and red being they're over allocated. So you can have a look at their availability over time if you need to attract more resources in, or you need to move things about, take people off projects, put them on projects. So what we're trying to be here is a very simple resource forecasting tool. There are some very rich resource management tools which says a project manager, oh, they can't allocate to somebody anymore, go to the PMO, what do I do? We're not like that. What we are is about telling people what we want in our status updates, and then being able to run reports, and we'll get a view, and it's a holistic view across the whole portfolio. So it's data in a project level, it's output at projects, yes, but also program and portfolio level. That's what we're trying to play to here. That's resourcing. I'm going to carry on, Nifal, is that all right?
Yeah,
so I'm going to move on to cost management. We'll do it quickly. So what we have here, again, within the project template, you can say, for every project, I want to know licenses, resources, materials, equipment, and anything else within here. And you can start to populate your by revenue and capital, or OPEX and CAPEX. And then it shows you your total, whether you're over allocated. We can see the variances. And we can see at the top level that we've budgeted for £700,000 in this case. By the way, we can change, that's configurable, we can change that to dirhams.
Okay.
And then but we're forecasting 900. Why are we forecasting 900? Because this one's over allocated by 300. We've got a resource problem here that we didn't know we had before. So it alerts people. Now, why do we do that? If every project's got a bit of that in it, and that doesn't have to have that level of detail, you can just have a high level estimate. And what I would encourage is, we've got a finance department to do it, but maybe one line per project gives the headline. So if I go to my reports and I go costs, I'll go to my settings and I'll say use an actual summary as well, and create. What I then get, and again, I'm running this at project portfolio, the highest level. I could run this at different levels, but I'm running it at the highest level. And what this does is aggregates the costs of every project, the detail of every project, and then it aggregates it up to the program level, supply chain, and then up to the top level. So we can see here that we've got a budget of 15.2 million, and we've got a forecast of 17, and here are where the variances are. Now, that's a bit of detail that you may not need. I can remove the detail, click create, and I can get one line per project on here, which is a bit neater.
No, so if it is coming as a standard module or core module, I mean, we might as well use it. I mean, I was initially thinking, like, if there is a possibility to swap it with any of the extra modules, then we would look into it. But if it is coming with the standard,
I think in terms of program and portfolio reporting, I understand detail. If there's accounting that are doing it in detail, then you don't want to duplicate. But what I do think is that at this level, at project level, if a project manager knows they've got 1.3 million to spend and they're currently on track, or they can report back to you that they've got a problem.
Absolutely.
At one line per project, you will get this type of report, and then it will aggregate up to your program and your portfolio. Remember, this is just a demo structure. You can have as many sub-levels to this as you want. So that's what costing's all about. Benefit realization is an interesting one. I'm going to run the report first and then go back to it. I've only got 15 minutes left, so I'm going to rattle through this because I don't want to stop you from wrapping up from your holiday. Okay, so I'm going to take the detail off again and show you, typically running at the portfolio level, what benefit gives you. And I don't think you want this as a phase one, but you never know, you might want to move on to it. So in terms of benefit realization, again, we keep it very simple. So what we say is the projects, what the costs are, which is what I've just pulled out of what I've just shown you. And then you start to look at what are the benefits of doing this piece of work. And what was the business case approved on? 1.5 million, there was going to be a saving. And what's the latest forecast? It's 1.45, so it's slightly off track. But then you can annualize that benefit, and we can put your financial start year, which I think is January the 1st, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or was it March 1st? No, I think it's January itself.
Yeah, I think so. I had a quick look at financial years. But anyway, we can figure your financial year, and you can start to break it down into different financial years. So I could have a 5-year business case here, or a benefit realization. I'm gonna very quickly show you again. It's a module that looks very similar to cost, so I'll show it you and move on, because I don't think that's something that you want imminently, is it? So
yeah, you're right.
So let me go into benefits. The type of thing here, why we're doing this piece of work: cutting costs, improving quality, regulatory, and if there is a financial benefit to it, what's the planned benefit? And then we can track the latest forecast. When does it kick in? Are we on track? Have we proven it? Is it a one-off benefit? Is it recurring? So it's simple data entry, which gives you that report, which is the total output. So that's benefits. I'm going to move on now to impacts. So impact management is different. This isn't something we've seen other people do. We've seen consultants do it and take a hell of a lot of time and cost to do it. And let me show you what we do. On this one, I'm going to show you the report. So in terms of impacts, I'm going to show you the report. And this is not a report by project, it's a report by business process. And I shall explain very quickly and simply. So what we have here are business processes: head office, finance, accounts payable. These are just configured examples. Again, part of the configuration is this, that we help to configure this. Head office, finance, bank reconciliation. These are generally departments within finance, general ledger, for example. And then we've got head office IT applications, we've got HR payroll, supply chain demand management. And what we're trying to demonstrate here is what projects are having an impact on a business process. So a stakeholder, the accounts payable manager, will know that all your projects are going to hit them either red, amber or green, low, medium or high over that period of time. What's it doing to them? Oh, well, there's an interface requirements to the finance systems within accounts payable. That's a project that's happening. Oh, well, okay, but we're doing an MS365 rollout at the same time. So now you're hitting us with 2 projects. Now you're hitting us with 3 projects because we're doing an AP process review. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like a hotspot matrix of what is the impact on a business process or a business department or a business area of doing this, of the portfolio of projects. So when you're running the portfolio and everybody who receives the benefit of the project, they don't really understand what's happening when. They can actually see the impact from this point of view. Okay. And again, this would probably be more of a phase 2 because it's quite business change impacting. So if I go into warehouse management and go to my impacts, this is where I can say I'm going to add to whatever we've operations. Level 2 within operations is supply chain. Level 3, distribution. It's going to have high impact, the description of the impact, and it's when it's aligned to the plan and it's at the implementation phase of the plan, there's going to be high impact to that department. So we've added it and that will appear on the report. So what we again, back to the theme of portfolio view of the impact of all your activity on specific stakeholders and departments. Okay, so that's impacts. So I'm recording this so you can replay it if you want. It's quite intricate, that one. And then we've got fairly standard, which are fairly standard things. Risks. So we've got risk register. And a lot of the time, I'm not sure how you manage risks at the moment. Is it again on Excel?
Yes, we have a a RAID log, so where we capture all the risks, issues, dependencies, etc., together in one file.
Okay.
But as you rightly said, it's an Excel based register. Yeah.
So typical risk log, description of the risk, likelihood and impact. If it's red,
Perfect.
3x3 will be red, 3x2, mitigating actions, etc. I'll move quickly through to the logs. It looks very similar. The logs are whatever you configure. As part of the configuration, we've got here issues, actions, decisions, lessons learned, risks. You talk about dependencies. Very quickly, let me show you as part of the configuration, what we would do is we'd say, right, okay, you want one called dependency.
Okay.
So quickly added.
So the log is configurable the way we want it to be. Okay.
Absolutely. So if I go back to that project that I was looking at, warehouse management, I go to logs, and I've now got a new one. When I add one called dependency. Okay. So that's within your gift as to what the logs should be. And then why do we do that? Again, at the holistic top level, it allows us to run reports. So I'm going to show you a typical risk log. Portfolio level, so you've got everybody's risks. So that would be everybody's risk within there. I mean, I'm not going to show the detail, it's fairly standard stuff. But what you can do is you could say, I only want to see the red risks. So I can filter by risks red, create a red risk log report.
Okay.
And now I've filtered out and I've now got all the red risks across the portfolio. So immediately I've got that. And then I'm going to jump straight to the logs, because the logs, I can run one, a log report, which says data, logs, and I go log type, and I go, right, okay, I can run them by all, but I want issues, and I want issues that have a status of red, and then we've got a red issues log. And when we've done the settings and we've said, yeah, I like that report, that's the report I want, those are our red issues, and then I could do red dependencies. You know, I can filter out the logs and I can do whatever I've added. So I've added dependency now, so I can do that, a dependency log report. And this is when we like it, we save the report, and I'll have a report in here called risks red, issues red, and that means that it's available for everybody to run without having to go into the detail, and it appears on my front page shared reports are what we've saved in the background, and my risks red, issues red, so that people can run reports to see how it looks. So that's running through all the modules. Now the last thing, we've done documents, so the last thing I want to show is the reporting plus. I've shown it you within a couple of the screens where we've got these fusion chart graphics. That's reporting plus, and you can run those graphic reports, the Gantt chart, if you want to produce that view. But mainly there are two things. One is the dashboard. So this is a dashboard now of your whole portfolio, and it looks at the health of the portfolio, and you can say, right, okay, a portion of our plan tasks are red. What are they?
So this dashboard is not coming along with the standard reporting, isn't it? Is it? It's only coming.
This is reporting plus.
This is reporting plus.
This is reporting plus, the fusion charts. So here we've got a dashboard. We can see the health. Now that's the health of the project portfolio, the top level. I could go down to find the finance stream of activity, and that's the dashboard for the finance stream of activity. I could actually go down to the project if I wanted to, AP process review, and just have a look at that one project and look at the health of it. So we get a dashboard of information which we can then run reports against. And also, and probably in a way a bigger thing, but not as visual, is that we can start to export data if we want to, using what we call the data export function. So with the data export function, I might want to move into some type of BI tool, click reporting or Power BI or something like that. But I can export all the data that I want to by exporting all the data here from the system into a set of CSV files, which isn't necessarily pretty, but if you wanted to, into zip files, which you wanted to go downstream and let other people start to play and analyze the data, then you could do that. So here we've got.
So if I understand it correctly, we can export the data that we in a file where it kind of goes with tools like ClickView, Power BI, etc. Is it?
Exactly, and we have examples where we have a scheduled export once a week for one of our clients, because I think it's called Click, because they have it's their total business intelligence. They use it, so we can have one, that's milestone. So every single task within the plan can be, here, they're all as CSV files. It's all there, and people can take it and add it onto whatever downstream systems they've got. So that's the other part.
We have a couple of brands who are using ClickView as well. So yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. That's exactly what one of our clients use it for, ClickView. I'd be able to put them in touch if you wanted to. So that really probably covers all of the modules. So where we are is that you've got a choice here then of, do you want, so we've based the price based on resources, benefits, impacts, documents, reports plus. Now, I think you want reports plus. I mean, I think that's probably, and it just makes the gives you all the graphics and everything. But I think from what I'm hearing, I think you can get a lot of benefit out of documents, because you can start to store all your
Absolutely.
You can drive your methodology using ProgrammExpress with that. And then I think probably, judging by your reaction, your next favorite would be resources.
Absolutely.
And then maybe impacts, and then maybe lastly benefits. Nobody ever wants to track benefits. So I mean, the question really is, it's what you want out of, you've got a choice of two based on the price that we've put in there, reports plus and documents. I'd probably be interested to know that whether you have a view on the resourcing.
Not really. We don't have that. So the extra modules, what we are keen into are those three: resources, documents, and report plus. But to make a final call, I mean, I'll have to have a word with Tara, which we would. We have the choice of only two, isn't it? So yeah, out of three.
Now, what I would do is I would give you resources, docs, and reports plus for the price that we've talked about, because I can't configure out costs. I mean, you might use it at a high level. I can't configure it out. We can configure it out from a user view, but it's a core module. So I'd be more than happy to say, as part of what we're trying to keep under the 97,000 dirhams, etc. I don't want to create a problem, and yet I think if you excluded resources, but it would be useful, then that would probably be short-sighted of me not to be flexible. So I'll give you those three for the price of two.
That's wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So does that help you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this recording and send it to you.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm more than happy anytime to jump on and do the same again. But you've also got this to maybe, if you just want to go back to and have a look yourself.
Sure.
But that gives you a flavour, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I can share the recording with Tara as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing really is the meeting with. I'm going to stop recording this now.